Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm FPL D-Unit and today you're here for your Sunday reaction about how things are going. And I've structured this into 3 parts of the video and I don't know if I'll be happy or angry or frustrated or sad or jubilant by the time you've watched the 3rd section, because I'm recording this bit at the moment post the games on Saturday and how I'm going on my bench boost and the story of my season pretty much. So it's the joys and lows. FPL is definitely very much joys and lows and highs and rushes and then just nothingness. It's the best way of describing it. Anyone that joined for the live watch along yesterday saw me experience yet again. It's actually really good. These watch alongs, I experience everything. I go from seeing a 17-pointer to seeing my captain for the 3rd week in a row blank, even though he was man of the match and got given the award after the game. But he didn't get any points for that. And at the end of the day, this is a game based on points and a game based on some sort of skill and also a hell of a lot of luck, let's be honest. And I don't even know if I'm lucky or non-lucky this week, to be honest. I'm definitely unlucky. Let's be honest. Since I started playing chips at the back half of last season, I've gone like this. I've gone bench boost last year for 6 points. I went triple captain last year for 2 points. We get onto this year and the wild card, hasn't really paid off yet. And we're now 3 weeks into it. And now I'm like sitting there going, I've got a lot of underperforming players in the team and I don't quite know where to go. And then I play another chip this week thinking, this is the week that I bought Krejci and Mukiele for to play the bench boost in either game week 8, which was originally the plan. And I wouldn't have gone any better that week either. Sorry, game week 7, but Chalobah obviously was suspended, so I couldn't play it then. Ironically, I think I actually scored more points on my bench last week, even though Chalobah didn't play, which kind of sums up my luck in general, really. So yeah, let's talk about it at the moment. So we obviously had the Pope and Dan Burn double up in the Arsenal defence, and last week it paid off handsomely. They covered the double Arsenal defence quite nicely. This week, complete opposite. Burn and Pope combined for 4 points. Dan Burn gets a late booking, yellow card. I mean, frustrating. And then Brighton, just a bit of a nothing team, and yet they got the win here. And let's be fair, they were pretty good value for it. Burn gets a defensive contribution points, but obviously conceding 2 goals loses a point, then the yellow card loses a point, and he gets a 2-pointer. Meanwhile, all the bloody cartel members got their Raya and Timber. Sorry, not Raya and Timber, not Raya and Gabriel combo, and Gabriel with a nice little assist. And look, I heard Nightmare basically saying, Gabriel's got way more attacking. I still disagree. I watched that game from start to finish, and Timber spent half the game in Fulham's box. The fact he didn't get any more in goal involvement's probably an indictment of how poorly Arsenal attack. And let's be honest, I think this week I thought that potentially suggesting a double Arsenal attack could be the way to go. It's definitely not. The way that they play, it is literally set-piece FC. You want to be invested with your attacker on either Saka or Rice, who take all the corners. Saka obviously takes them from the right. Rice takes them from the left. You don't want anyone else from an attacking perspective from Arsenal. You want the people on the corners because they just keep scoring goals off corners. And that's why the defenders are so good, because quite often it's the defender that gets the return. So yeah, that was frustrating. Obviously, Chalobah, it started off really well. I mean, Chalobah kept the clean sheet against Nottingham Forest, and how he kept the clean sheet in that game, I had no idea. And I thought, maybe this is my week. Maybe I'm going to get lucky this week, because there is no way I watched that game and how he kept the clean sheet is still beyond me, and I'll take it and I'll run to the hills. Then we get into the live watch on, and the first goal to go in was Sunderland against Wolves from memory. I'm pretty sure it was the first goal that went in, and guess what? It was Mukiele, of all things. The goalkeeping was horrendous from the Wolves goalkeeper. How that went in, I'll never know. But I was like, oh my God, maybe it is actually my week. I know I've got Krejci, so obviously he's conceded. But if Mukiele gets a goal, keeps a clean sheet, all of a sudden, what I was hoping for, 2 clean sheets from both of them, 0-0, doesn't matter. Mukiele's just got 17 points, and no, he's not on the bench. But on any other week, he would be on the bench. And the reason why he's even in the squad is because I was playing the bench boost this week, and he was going to be part of it. So when I look at it, that's brilliant. I would have been quite happy with Krejci getting a 2-point or a 1-point. The fact that he then, later in the game, it just turned again, didn't it? At halftime of these games, my luck completely turned. Haaland started showing up in the second half. Yes, I own him and I've got 13 points out of it. Semenyo obviously got an assist as well. But let's be honest, it's super frustrating knowing that the goals that Haaland got were both made completely by Phil Foden, but he got no reward for it. Didn't get any bonus points, didn't get anything. He just got 2 assists to the assists. And in terms of FPL points, that's absolutely nothing. And it's really frustrating to watch when you're like watching the game outside of Haaland scoring those 2 goals and then missing the 2 that Phil Foden would have assisted him on, which almost just rubbed salt into the wound. Yes, obviously Haaland would have got another 2 goals, but if Foden gets 2 assists there off those things, he's getting 2 bonus points, and that would have been extra points for me. And it would have slightly made it a bit better. Well, at least I would have got some returns from a midfielder in my team as well. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. Like, I look at that game, and I'm looking at Phil Foden's stats for the game, right? And he had 0.64 XGI in that game. The week before, he had 0.49. He's had over 1.1 XGI the last 2 games, and he's got no returns for it. None. It's just... And then obviously Burnley, he got that goal robbed. Like the last 3 games, he's been involved. It just hasn't fallen to him. It hasn't fallen the way that I thought it was going to fall. When I watched the game, and he deserved to get something out of that game. I don't think anyone will sit there that watched that game and tell me that Phil Foden didn't deserve to get some sort of return. The fact Haaland missed 2 absolute sitters when he fed him just kind of sums up the luck that I'm having this year. Now, look, I did obviously take the pigeon out because I was playing the bench boost and I was concerned he was going to get benched. And sure enough, guess what? He's on the bench. And that's why I got rid of him. Now, the options I was looking at, there was 3. There was either, what's his name now? The pigeon to João Pedro, or there was the pigeon to Voldemort, or it was the pigeon to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and just have some fun on a punt. I look at it now, and I did say the reason why I wanted to do it is because I want to change into like a better midfielder from Reinders, and then that Dominic Calvert-Lewin spot can just be kind of a dead spot in the team based on how poorly the forwards have been outside of Haaland this year. And I kind of think that, well, at the moment, Dominic Calvert-Lewin might end up with more points than the pigeon anyway. So like in reality, it was a half decent move. Have I made a mistake not going for João Pedro instead? Based on what we saw again yesterday, I'd say probably not. He's just not looked at the races, and maybe I'm dodging a bullet there and saving some money that I can then invest somewhere else. I've still obviously got 3 transfers as well, so I don't like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I want to go to someone else, like a Mateta. I just don't know. I feel like I want to target players over the next 5 weeks that aren't in Europe, because I do think we're going to see rotation. We saw it with Chelsea again yesterday. We saw it with Arsenal, early subs. We're seeing it again with Spurs a little bit today as well. I mean, we don't even know what Liverpool's going to be yet. I'm going to record a small segment between that game and just talk about that. But, yeah, I mean, 0.33 XG in that game as well for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He specialises in that, doesn't he? Racks up the stats, doesn't actually do anything on the ball. I was literally channeling my inner him, hoping that he would pop off. He did not pop off. He was rubbish. Yes, it was a dumb pick, maybe in hindsight. In fact, it was always going to be a dumb pick. I even said that when I did it. But I thought, I've got to do it for the fact that Gary's got double Burnley defence. And you know what? I'd rather play the game and have a bit of silly fun and hope it comes in, rather than sit there and go, you know what? I'm just going to bring in João Pedro, get 2 points like everyone else, and just whine about it next week when he blanks again. I knew what I was getting into. If the pigeon doesn't come off the bench and score, in reality, I've made 1 point out of it. So it's not the be-all and end-all. Then we get to the bench, right? Now, lots of people say, oh, your bench boost is crap. You've got 4 points. And yes, it is crap. But I actually played the bench as is. Now, I saw other people this week bench boosting that played other players on field that I definitely would have benched when I look at their teams. And they've got points on their bench from players that, return. Like Semenyo. Someone benched Semenyo this week on bench boost. As if you would be benching him if you weren't on bench boost. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And I literally have not cheated on my bench boost. I did not put anyone on the bench that I realistically would have played if I hadn't been playing the bench boost. So I didn't cheat, which is why my bench looks absolutely horrendous. I could literally have played Krejci on field instead of Mukiele, and we're talking about 20-odd points on the bench. And all of a sudden I'm talking about, success on the bench boost. But I'm not talking about success. It's been an absolute disaster. Petrovic, 2 points on the bench. Senesi had a red card to being checked. I mean, it could have been even worse. Senesi almost looked like he was going to get sent off. The ref went to the monitor. The ref decided that no, it was only a yellow card and that maybe Sarr was making the most of it. I'm not sure. But again, that's what it is. Reinders, pre-60-minute sub. I mean, that's the first time I remember Pep doing that with any of... That's the first time I remember Ryan was coming up before like 80 minutes this season, and he gets me a 1-pointer on my bench boost. I mean, the luck just continues, doesn't it? It's just, it's kind of incredible. You just got to keep rolling with the punches and hope that at some point it does turn around. And then, I mean, Krejci conceding, and then that own goal was just, it sums up my season. It sums up my season, and maybe I just need to do what Nottingham Forest have done and just make a change of manager. Maybe I need to phone a friend and get them to do my team for me, because let's be honest, it's been crap. It's been crap. We've had 8 weeks of utter crap. We've wasted 2 chips on nothing. We're sitting on currently 391 points prior to Bruno and Boomo and Bowen playing. Plus, I've worried about the Aston Villa versus Tottenham game at the moment. And I'm currently sitting on 5.9 million rank for the first 7 3/4 of the game week so far. I mean, it's not the best place to be in. And when I look at the teams in the thing you can beat the D-Unit mini league, and I've gone 3 points. I've risen 3 places this week. At the moment, the bloke in top is on 573 points, and he's in the top 2K. Top 2K, and he's literally almost 200 points in front of me, which is just mad. And the thing is that he's obviously I'm just checking the chips he's played in his team. So he's played triple captain, he's played his wild card, and he's played bench boost. So I've got 1 chip extra on him at the moment, and I'm literally 180 points behind. That is a lot of work for me to get through. I mean, I've just got to be... I feel like... Part of me is like going, part of me is like, I just want to keep on taking on Haaland in captaincy. And someone said, why don't you just sell him then if you're going to do that? Because I know that he's going to return. I'm just backing in myself to get someone better every week. Unfortunately, it just hasn't worked for the last 3 weeks. And when I captained Cunha as well, that was an absolute mitigated disaster too. So, I mean, I've shot myself in the foot. I probably lost about 40 points there. I'd probably be in the top 3 million teams if I'd actually not stuffed around with the captaincy. But it just keeps coming back to, do I want to be the same as everyone else? There's no enjoyment just all picking the same players. And there's many different ways of playing FPL. And look, maybe perma-captain is the way to go. Maybe FPL Towers need to look at a couple of ways to change the game. Because I will admit that this season compared to last season feels pretty boring. Like last year, there were just so many, I don't know, better picks with more consistent scoring. The attacking defenders were all in vogue. And yes, they're coming back into vogue now, which is nice to see. I don't know. I just don't know if the DC points have really helped. It still baffles me how a player can get 4 points and concede multiple goals and still get like a half decent score. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it's done to the game. I don't know if it's just it turned me off it a little bit, but I just look at the UCL and I think that they do it so much better. Like, you could sit there and take risks with captaincy. Like, you'd roll your captain. You could have your default captain like Haaland, but then you'd have a chance to go and play it on someone else and have a little bit of fun with it. I think maybe they need to look at manual subs and manual captaincy next year, and then you can change it. But whenever there's a gap between games, you could be allowed to change it, or change it at the end of one day in preparation for the next, like the Champions League does. I don't know. I just think it'd make it slightly better. I mean, this year, the fact they just made 2 times chips has just annoyed me more than anything else. I mean, the chips in general, I don't rate. And the fact that we have to use them twice, I mean, it's just twice the disappointment from what I can gather so far. I mean, I don't think it's possible to get worse than 4 points on your bench boost in the first half of the season with 4 blokes showing up. So that's just one of those things, really. And look, it's funny though, because like Nightmare was obviously, shout out Nightmare, he talked a lot about me in his reaction video. But at least I didn't do a -4 for a goalkeeper. I mean, that is just utter stupidity. Especially one of the other blokes is you're not going to be playing, and you could have just played Dubravka this week, and instead you bought in Pope for a hit, and he didn't keep a clean sheet. I mean, I sit there and go, I know I bought in Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but that was a calculated gamble, and it didn't cost me anything. And in reality, I've still got 3 free transfers this week to deal with whatever happens. I just think we just got to hope that I can turn it around. I still believe that I can. And look, after this Spurs-Villa game, hopefully it's a 1-1 game and it's two bozos that no one owns that scores. And then we go into the Man United-Liverpool game, and that's going to be interesting. So I'm going to join you again after the Spurs-Villa game and give you a rank update and hopefully some news about the Man United lineup and what I'm thinking about that. Anyways, I'll join you for the second part. Keep you guys tuned for that. So I've just finished watching the Tottenham versus Villa game, and Villa have actually won that game 2-1. Morgan Rogers coming back from nowhere with an absolute weldy. And it was one of them games where all the higher-end assets like Kudus did nothing. The Tottenham defence obviously all blanked and no one got defensive contributions. And now I'm like going, I might actually get a decent green arrow. So I've obviously got Mbeumo and Bruno to come, which I'm very nervous about. I'm hoping they can get at least one attacking return between them, which would be nice, but that means Man United actually have to score a goal. And I've seen the lineup, and I've seen Dalot starting at left wing back with Luke Shaw, Maguire, and De Ligt. And I just think that Mo Salah's going to have a field day. I hope I'm wrong, but I think, honestly, he could definitely have a field day there, and that does not feel good in any way, shape or form. So hopefully I'm wrong and my boys do return. But look, at the moment we are now sitting on a live rank of 6,022,000. So I've got 3 players left to play. The bench boost isn't going to plan, but if in theory, I think I should end up taking 1 million off my rank this week with the bench boost chip. Now, I would have hoped for more potentially, and maybe if I'd captain Haaland, it definitely would have been more, but we don't know what's going to happen in this game. Bruno Fernandes could go absolutely mental and Mbeumo could get absolutely mental. I'm very nervous. This is the second segment, and hopefully at the end of the third segment, I'm looking like a very happy man with a very, very fat green arrow. But there's every chance that I'm sitting here after a chastening watch along with Tom, complaining about Dalot at left wing back again, going, why am I watching this? Not only am I having a bad season from FPL, but I'm watching the same thing. Amran's doing the same thing. It's like Amran is doing the exact same thing as I'm doing in FPL. Captaining Foden every single week. He's playing Dalot every single week, hoping for a better result. And you just don't get one. You don't get one. So maybe we both need to be sacked. But we'll wait and see. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. I'll join you for the third part. Live post the watch along. Come on, United. Come on, United. Let's get a win. Let's get a win, baby. Let's get a win. Part 3, how did it go? I'm telling you, baby, the D-Unit's luck has potentially changed. I mean, you couldn't make this kind of nonsense up. Man United with a midfield duo of Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro have gone to Anfield and raided it like it's a sand city that's been blown over in a gale, whatever. Nightmare, I'm telling you, baby. 4 points on the bench boost, but who gives an absolute crap? Because guess what? My team on field are delivering the points this week. The D-Unit's back. We're not really back, but we're into the 5 millions and we're on a big fat green arrow. We're shaving off at least 1 million places this week using a chip, which is kind of annoying, but the bench boost really has given me nothing. And let's be honest, I've almost forgotten I played it because when you go to Anfield and you sit there, and the reason why I wanted to play it this week, because originally at the start of the week, I had 5 players playing in the defence. Because I thought, it's a good week to play 5 players in the defence. I was going to have Mbeumo and Fernandes on the bench. You can even check my video out. At the start of the week, I said I was going to play a 5-man at the back. If I was playing 11 players, I was going to have Brian Mbeumo and Fernandes on the bench. And I said, that's why I want a bench boost, because I just think both of them will return. Now, I took them both off my bench and put 2 idiots on the bench that didn't return. But Mbeumo and Fernandes get the business done. At the moment, Bruno Fernandes somehow is on 3 bonus points. I've got no idea how that's possible with just 1 assist, but we'll take it. He's on 8 points. And Brian Mbeumo with the goal and 2 bonus points is on 9. 17 points from 2 players. I will take that all day long. I've been unlucky with a lot of my returns this season. And I just feel like this was the game where I felt we were sitting there. Me and Tom were doing the live watch along. Anyone that joined, you will know exactly what we're talking about. We basically said that Bruno looked like he was trying his hardest to dodge points. He hits the post in the first half. He gets to like 8 DC or 9 DC points, whatever it was. And then he just decides, you know what, I'm actually going to do something. And we even talked throughout the game. I was like, why is he playing Maguire? I was like, this is the kind of game where Maguire scores a header. And what happens? The slabhead puts it in and the away end goes absolutely ballistic. The cop losing the plot. They're melting down. They're saying slot out on the thing, which is fantastic. We love to see it. Amarin in, baby. The system works. All he needs is a decent midfielder to partner with Bruno Fernandes. And Man United are going to win the league. That's how excited I am after that game. This is a difference between before, after, when you get FPL points and your team wins. This is the exact response. The D-Unit is alive. It's like Timu Jesus was on stream with me earlier and resurrected the D-Unit from the funk that was yesterday, where I had Krejci get a -1 on bench boost, Reinders sub before 60 minutes, Petrovic doing nothing, and Senesi trying his hardest to get himself sent off to really give me a horrible bench boost. The players actually on the field just dominating. And I saw an FPL mate put it on his thing. I could have cheated. This week, I could have put Brian Mbumo, Fernandes, and Mukiele on the bench. That would have been a bench boost. Trig, Gary, hope you're watching this. Nightmare, hope you're watching this. Let me count it up. So, Brian Mbumo, 9 points, plus 8 from Fernandes would have been 17, plus Mukiele's 17, 34 points, plus Petrovic's 2 points. That is 36 points. Now, I didn't cheat. I didn't put players that I thought would return in the end on my bench. I put the blokes that I thought were actually worst. But if I wasn't playing bench boost, I may well have benched some of these players. So in reality, yes, the bench boost got 4 points. But the blokes that I originally started the week with on the bench have dominated. I just happened to put them on the field and benched other people that I still think I would have done the other way if I wasn't playing the chip. So the success of the chip, you can call it what you want, etc., etc. All I know is that it's about time I've had some luck in this game. And look, I'm on a big green arrow. Considering I didn't captain Erling Haaland, and I've got 4 points from bench boost from 4 players that actually played, you've got to take it. You've got to be happy with that. And it's about, I don't know, maybe this is the turning point in the season where I sit there and everyone goes, you don't need double United attack. And on Friday night, post the late mail, I was originally going to do 3 transfers. I was going to go João Pedro for Richarlison. And let's be honest, I bought in Dominic Calvert-Lewin, got exact same amount of points as João Pedro. Ironically, double the points that Pigeon got. So it was still, it was a worthwhile transfer, but whatever. I should have just probably left it and taken the 1 point from the Pigeon, to be honest. Then, obviously, the next move I'd actually looked in when I was going to sleep. I was going to bring Rice into the team, which would have got me 3 points instead of the 1 from Reinders. And I would have bought in Timber for Krejci. Now, that is the big one. Obviously, Timber got 6 points. Krejci got -1, so that's a 7-point swing there. But I would have had no free transfers this week. And I would have got rid of Mbumo in that team. And Mbumo got 9 points. So in reality, maybe I actually wasn't down any points from making the transfers at all. And just using one and just having a bit of a roll with the dice, having a bit of fun, was the correct play. Yes, it didn't work. And you could say Dominic Calvert-Lewin unit just sucked. And he did suck. I'm not saying he didn't. And the bench boost, in terms of the actual people I've got on my bench, absolutely sucked. But most people, when they play the bench boost, have 4 players on their field that did pretty much what my 4 players did on the bench. So when you think about it, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I mean, considering I'm now on 73 points with Jarrett Bowen still to play, and we don't know what he's going to do. Hopefully he shows up. Hopefully Nuno gets him rocking and they roll Brentford tomorrow and he gets a brace. I mean, if Jarrett Bowen gets a brace tomorrow, I'm on 86 points. I didn't captain Haaland. I captained Phil Foden instead. And I'm still having fun, still having a good time, and I'm still on a green arrow. So, yes, you can sit there. You can play the game boringly. You can follow the cartel. You can follow a review. You can follow Solio if that's your lot in life. If you're Gary and you want to follow whatever review says, by all means, you can do that. If you're Trig and you want to watch the Solio odds and work out what player you're going to bring in, etc., you can do that. If you Nightmare and come up with bat crazy ideas about bringing Pope in for a -4, by all means, you can do it. And the D-Unit will play his own game as well. And some weeks it will be an absolute stinker, and I'll own it. But I tell you what, you can have a stinker at the same time as having a good week. And I'd argue that I'm having a decent week. Regardless of the bench boost, I'm still on 69 points without Haaland captain. So let that sink in for a moment. Most people that have got points this week have got Haaland captain. The D-Unit's doing it without sitting there and being boring. You could argue that if I captained Haaland, I'd be on 83 points, and I'll definitely take that on board. And I will say that well done to those people that did captain him. But at the end of the day, the game is about having fun. And I like taking the piss out of people. And people, I'm more than happy for them to take the piss out of me, especially when my picks don't come in well. I'm more than man enough to own it. I'm actually built in a way where I deal with criticism quite well. Just makes you want to be better, to be honest with you, and be a little bit more outrageous. So let's be honest. I've been due a bit of luck. At the moment, that's what we're on. It doesn't even matter what Bowen does tomorrow because I'm on a big fat green arrow. That's all what FPL's all about. It's feeling good. Sunday night, Liverpool in the bin. Slots under pressure. Amarin's loving life. He's got another 3 years under the Jim Ratcliffe plan. Manchester United might be back, but more importantly, the D-Unit is back. Nightmare, baby. You better get that in your next video because I'm telling you, you're running scared of the card, baby, and the card is coming for you. The D-Unit power is coming for the Nightmare. Nightmare is going to be dreaming about the D-Unit tonight, baby, because I am up and about. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, Nightmare. D-Unit.